Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and JD Vance goes onto enemy territory in CNN and expertly deals with the slimy Kaitlan Collins in perfect fashion. This is how you handle the liberal media. And before we jump in, we are sponsored by Colonial Metals Group. If you want to protect your wealth against Bidenomics and Bidenflation, you need to go over to the experts who will save your wealth through gold, silver, and other precious metals. Now, let's go.
Trump's team, his attorney, argued that a president could order the military to stage a coup and to have their political opponent assassinated and be immune from prosecution unless this theory that they were impeached and then convicted by the Senate. Do you share the view that presidents are basically above the law?
Look, Kaitlan, I think we have to be careful about imputing words into the president's attorneys that they didn't actually say. What the president's attorney said is that what the president's attorney said, Kaitlan, to be clear, is that there is a checks and balances system in our Constitution. Now, some things the president does, private acts, are liable to criminal penalties, but most of the things that the president does in their official duties, we have a system of impeachment. We have a system of checks and balances, the legislative branch that I'm a member of, the judicial branch. I do not read the president's attorneys as saying that the president could order a coup. The president's attorneys are saying that the constitutional checks and balances system would address that problem. And I think that's an important distinction.
But let me stop you right there, because I listened to this. It's John Sauer, Trump's attorney. And when he was asked by one of the justices if the president could order the military to stage a coup and would it count as an official act, meaning he couldn't be prosecuted for it, he said it would depend on the circumstances. I mean, what circumstances warrant a president ordering the military to stage a coup?
Well, first of all, he did say it depends on the circumstances, so that opens up a whole lot of avenue for context there. But more importantly, Kaitlan, he's just saying that would count as an official act.
But that's an official act in your view, too?
But could I finish the answer to the question, Kaitlan? An official act, there are a number of checks and balances in our system. There's the impeachment process. There's the budgeting authority that Congress has. There are a number of ways where Congress has a check and balance control over the President of the United States. All he's saying is that the criminal liability procedures that exist in this country don't cover the President's official acts. And by the way, how could anybody disagree with that, Kaitlan? Should Barack Obama be prosecuted for killing an American citizen via a drone strike? There are a number of examples in American history where if you apply the standard, the lawfare standard of the Biden administration against Donald Trump, it would make the presidency impossible to actually execute the law.
Yeah,
so
I know
in the name of taking down their political opponent, Kaitlan, these guys are really pushing a legal theory that I think would destroy the presidency, whether a Democrat or Republican was in charge.
He's right, and she even admitted that he's right. So there's actually a lot to unpack here in this small segment. First off, Kaitlan Collins is basically a grifter with an official platform. Yes, I know, ironic coming from me. Kaitlan Collins actually used to run in conservative circles and then realized she was better at saying things from a leftist point of view, or at least from a moderate, which I don't think she is anymore. So, what's actually going on here? They're making a big stink over a simple legal precedent. Okay, there's no such thing as a simple legal precedent. But what I'm getting at is this. In the attempt to argue for presidential immunity, you need to understand what is allowed by law and what is not allowed by law. And so the Supreme Court got it right, that the president cannot be charged for acts that are within his own power. Y'all, times are rough. Record inflation is still not under control. We have a president who doesn't know what planet he's on. And the Federal Reserve continues to make dumb decision after dumb decision after dumb decision. You can gamble on Wall Street all you want, but if you want to diversify and protect your wealth, you need to look into my friends over at Colonial Metals Group. These amazing experts understand how to keep your wealth safe and protected from the volatility of our current market. And there's even a great deal for first-time accounts. Free gold and silver-backed IRA accounts, insurance on whatever precious metals you happen to buy for 5 years, up to $7,500 worth of silver, and a nice safe for you to keep all this good stuff in. So go take a look at their website, link in the description below, or call the phone number below so you can talk personally to Paul Stone, CEO, and his amazing team of experts to protect your wealth today. I'm going to give a personal anecdote here. When I was taking my constitutional class, which was my favorite political science class out of all of them, we had a very fierce debate, or rather, it was the whole class versus, I think, myself and one other person, on whether or not Franklin Delano Roosevelt had the power to put people in concentration camps. That is what he did to Japanese citizens on the West Coast during World War II. Unfortunately, I was forced to take a look at the Constitution, and my argument was thus. Under the War Powers Clause, you have an opaque language that pretty much allows a president to do anything. And that also happened under Abraham Lincoln, when he basically ended free speech in the North for a while because newspapers were so mad at how badly he was handling the war, which he was, by the way. Also the press was making everything worse for him, so it was this ugly parasitic cycle. If it wasn't for the press almost took out U.S. Grant. After the Battle of Shiloh, they wanted his head on a platter. However, that man knew how to win, and continued to win over and over and over again. Lincoln finally stopped listening to the media and used his power, arguably unconstitutionally, but according to the attorneys that were arguing for Trump, the argument was simple. You cannot prosecute a president for something that is directly in the Constitution. Only when you do something outside of those bounds can you be liable for something. That is the whole argument in the nutshell, and for some reason, the Supreme Court was split 6-3. This should have been a 9-0 decision. No, I think it was 7-2. Either way, this should have been a 9-0 unanimous decision. That yes, as long as the president is doing his job according to the Constitution, which is the whole point of having a Constitution, to outline the different sections of our government, to offer checks and balances, and to offer ways to amend certain processes should something get stale or fall through the cracks. That's the whole point. That's what makes our document so strong. And for some reason, Democrats don't like that system because how dare it protect someone that does, well, have mean tweets and cheap gas, for a lack of a better phrase. That is all JD Vance is arguing here. And Kaitlan Collins knows she can't admit it outright. She does at the very last second. And so I don't want to call people grifters. All right? I don't like doing that. I don't like casting aspersions like that. But Kaitlan Collins is doing something else entirely. And what happens nearly every single time she shows her face on TV, particularly on CNN, she's carrying water for the rich white liberals who have had their fingers in their ears and have basically a mental glass ceiling that they can't get past. They cannot understand that we have a Constitution that protects presidents certain actions, that protects Congress certain actions, and protects the Supreme Court certain actions. They hate that because they're so bound to solve problems, albeit in the worst possible way, that they will continue to deny the realities of legal precedent, all in an attempt to get the orange man, who to them is very, very bad. That's the sad reality of the situation. That's why I love our Constitution so much, and that's why I am more and more getting on board with JD Vance. Not just because of his fantastic life story, but because he understands what needs to be done in order to save this country. He had to change his own opinions when he realized, I might have been wrong about something. Now he's the vice president candidate, and he's going to go from voting in the Senate to likely being the tie-breaking vote in the Senate. This is one amazing ride, and I am here for it. Go JD Vance, you done good. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed this segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one, and until then, y'all have a good one.